go with Sweden and Mjallby. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. AIK becoming the champions of Sweden. A little village with only 1.5 thousand, well, less than that of a population. Uh, yeah, what do we think of that one? We'll go with you first, Seb. What do you think of them being the champions of Sweden, and how big of a shock is that?
So I tried looking this up because I wasn't really sure, and I saw the umlaut, and Swedish is never intuitive. So apparently it's like Mjällby. Someone could correct us on that one. How much of a shock is it? It's hard for us to say. How much do we actually know about the Swedish league? It is a bit of a weaker league than we're accustomed to watching, but given that it's just like one to 2,000 people living there, it's great. It is a good thing for football, and this is what it's all about. And by the hearing of it, it's a local club, a community club, where they have started to invest in one or two maybe foreign players, but there's still a big community in that area. And how much of a surprise is it? They have been in the Swedish top flight for the past 6 years, stable fifth, sixth finishes. So I say stable fifth, sixth finishes. I didn't watch them. I see that on the table. So how much of a shock is it? It's definitely good to take over from Malmö, who have overtaken everyone in the Swedish league and just dominated it. So it's good to see an underdog winning the league, and I think it's a positive thing for football, and it's a positive thing for a small city like Mjällby. There we go. I'll try and get it right.
Very good.
Very good. Mjallby, not to be mistaken with the famous former Celtic player Johan Mjallby, and we'll get on to Scottish football later. But Joe, how important is it to you? What were your thoughts when you heard about this, especially when, as Seb mentioned, you've got the likes of Malmo playing in that league. You've got Häcken, AIK as well, and Augsburg, to name a few, that are regulars across European competition, and will probably have bigger funds than the likes of Mjallby.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. One thing I learned when I was reading about this, I don't think I realised, is that Sweden has the same 50+1 rule that Germany has. So it's not a case where sometimes you see something like this and you think it's a big local businessman who's come in and he's bankrolled this club to success.
Tony Bloom. Sorry. There we go.
Indeed. But yeah, that's clearly not happened here, and it seems like they've sort of got this assistant manager. I heard, a guy called Aksum. That's only his surname. I can't remember what his first name was. But he's come in recently, and by the sound of it, completely helped them change their style of football from quite a direct style, which is what got them up the leagues. Apparently, they've played really sort of high energy, pressing, attacking football. So, as well as just being a great story because of the size of the place, it's good to see that they've done it in that sort of style as well. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, my understanding was that they basically, for the past few seasons, have built a really solid defense, and then that's just enabled them to just bring that a little bit higher up the pitch, and now maybe like a 3-4-3, very possession-based football that they play to try and just, have a good foundation and actually get more goals. But they don't have a lot of individual goal scorers. If you look at their top goal scorers, they kind of spread the goals as well, which I don't know whether that's a sign of a really good team or if it's always hard to draw that conclusion. But yeah, it's Johansson, their top scorer, who's been there for 4 or 5 years now. So it's also a really nice story. It's not like they've just gone out and tried to buy the league or whatever. I think it's great. I do like this story.
Yeah, and you're looking about, you're saying that they've not brought the league title. You're looking at their previous honours. They've got the second division in 2009 and 2019, so 10 years apart from that. And then obviously the first time they've won the major championship this time round, as well as having promotions to the second division in 2017-18. So obviously they've dropped down the leagues before coming back up again, and then they were promoted to the first division in 2019 after previously being promoted before that in 2009. So yeah, it's a big occasion and a big thing for Swedish football. Does that mean we can see a bit of Swedish dominance on the way?
That's a stretch.
I think their World Cup qualification would justify that Swedish dominance is not really there. Listen, Sweden produces a lot of great players, and we're aware of it. We just mentioned Malmo have won I think it's 5 of the last 6 titles. I could be wrong on that one. And Malmo produced obviously Ibrahimovic, but the main thing for me here is that it encourages the 50+1 system. Though I mean that's all of Sweden, okay, but it also doesn't mean that the competition is dead because you can't get rich
Yeah.
investors. That's the main takeaway I'll take from it. And yes, also the size of the city does not matter either. Where Swedish cities are smaller than we're accustomed to, but less than 2,000 is very small. It probably does not is not entitled to be called a city. So it's a positive thing for many elements of it. And there has been smart investment. You know, a lot of Swedish clubs tend to have a lot more Swedish national players than say in England, where you won't find that many English players. They've been a bit clever about it by buying a few foreigners and managing to build up a really good team. So I like it. I like the whole project, and we will see them in Europe next year. And we'd hope for a competitive team, but it's a bigger step up now, so remains to be seen.
It's interesting because, sorry, I was going to say, I was thinking about when Graham Potter took over at Ostersunds, were they not in the third tier or something? And he took them up into Europe. So there's clearly scope for that sort of thing to happen in Sweden. Maybe not to this extent, obviously winning the league, but
And it's the stories we seek, we want to see that like today, and I think we'd all crave that in bigger divisions in the top in Europe, like in the top 5 ones. We crave for a story like this of a really small town. Imagine if I don't know, Grimsby win the Premier League. That's the kind of magnitude we're talking about, and that's what we want to see. I'm bringing up Grimsby. I know I'm not even sure of the population. I should probably double check that.
What I do know is
small.
a lot of fishing in Grimsby, and that's what there is in Sweden as well. So there is a connection there. So I'll give you that one.
It's all intentional. It's all by design.
But yeah, you touched on the 50, what was it, 50+1, did you say? Rule there, and I find that very key. I think it's a good thing that I like from um, German football, and I think it's something that has obviously worked well for Mjallby here. And do you think it's something that you'd like to see implemented in other leagues, especially like the Premier League, where you've got lots of foreign investment?
I'm not sure I'd like. Sorry, I interrupted on this one. I'm not sure I'd like to see it because it's definitely forced other clubs' hands. In Germany, for instance, we see Bayern running away with the league now and running away with the financial power. I don't know whether it's good to have the 50+1 or if it's a bad thing for the competition. For the community, it's clear that it's a good thing to have a fan-owned club. Would it be good if we do that in, say, the Premier League or in La Liga? It's probably impossible. Once you've injected that big amount of cash, it's hard to go back and try and give it back to the fans. So I don't know whether it would be a good thing for the whole competition in general, but it's a good thing for communities.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see it lower down in English football. Certainly at the level I follow Shrewsbury, so certainly at that level, I'd like to see it more. And I do think fan-owned clubs have had success at that level. I'm thinking of Exeter, for example, who are a steady League One club at this point. There's so many teams getting into financial trouble in League One, League Two, because it's just such a black hole you're throwing your money into. The Premier League's very different because they're all making absolutely tons of money.
And it should not be about making money at this level.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be buying a League Two club because you're seeing a potentially grand investment. It should be about the football club in the community that has brought people together. That's more essential. And I think this story is what shows that community is more important than big injections of cash. And like mentioned, my screen has just gone off on accident. But yeah, I think we need to. What was I going to say? Sorry for that. I think for Lower Down, it would be a good project. It'd be a great project for Lower Down. That's what I'm going to say.
I think that's a very good point, actually, that you guys just raised about the lower divisions and how it would actually be quite good for the English game lower down the pyramid. Like you said, Joe, a lot of lower league clubs struggle financially, whether that be not. I know Sheffield Wednesday's been one recently where it's because of owner neglect. Let's just say how it is, call a spade a spade. It's owner neglect that's caused that at Sheffield Wednesday. whereas there's other clubs further down, like you said, in the likes of League Two, like the likes of your club Shrewsbury that are there because I don't obviously put words in your mouth, Joe, but because they just haven't got that you've the fan base of the Premier League clubs that are injecting that cash in. They've got obviously a community club like a lot of lower league clubs, and they rely heavily on gates more than the finances that come in through merchandising and television sales. So
Yeah, absolutely. And what's important to me is that I've got a club to support in 10, 15, 20 years time. I obviously don't expect us to be in the Premier League at any point, but I can see us going bust. So, that's what's important to me, and I'm sure lots of other people who support teams. If Mjallby, sorry, were in the English divisions, they probably would be a lower league team looking at their attendances and what have you. So that's for me personally, I look at this and as Seb says, it's a very sort of uplifting story, and the story of the community and everything's fantastic.
so to the people of Mjallby, congratulations on your title. We hope to see some great European football next season for you guys, enjoying in the UEFA Champions League, and let's hope that we can have maybe a few upsets along the way. Maybe if you get your big draw against your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, Liverpool Cities, whatever, Bayern Munich as well. Hopefully you can pull off a shock along there and